All right, we're live. Greetings, family. Welcome to Journey to Bliss. We have Brother Lalji here who will be speaking about Saint Germain, Volume 4. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the Starseed opening right now.
Success.
Is your destiny.
Wow. What an opening. Shout out to Brother Hank Rising Sun. I'm extremely grateful. Beautiful opening. Okay, Lalji, have at it. You have the table.
Great. Good morning, everyone, on this, or grand rising on this nice sunny day. You think we could get those windows open there? So we're in volume 4, the first chapter of volume 4, and we're going to read some more of the scriptural information. They don't call this a scripture, but the information is so high powered. I'm calling it a scripture, so I'm going above and beyond my authority. But these 21 volumes are really sublime. So let me read the invocation. Mighty shining and folding presence, we give praise and thanks for thy life everlasting, thy youth eternal, thy light illumining. And that's the shortest invocation I've read so far from Saint Germain. Oh, it's not a that is Saint Germain. And so the discourse today, it looks like Arcturus. Arcturus is giving the discourse. Okay, look at that. Okay. All right. So Arcturus, oh America, we love you. Oh America, we love you. Mighty seed of God's eternal manifestation. We give praise and thanks that thou art sustained and governed by God alone. The day on which the day on which independence within thy heart was established, thou didst become a radiating center of light to all humanity. We give praise and thanks that out of all will come peace and prosperity to mankind in thy embrace. Back to thee in the power that will sustain and maintain the reign of God on earth. His light shall illumine and strengthen the hearts of thy children in all ruling places, and out of all shall come love, justice, and wisdom. This is Arcturus speaking. America, we love you. America, we love you. America, we love you. Today, O America, thou mightiest messenger of God who have passed before, look upon thee with thy heart filled with love and strength, the love of the mighty I am presence, flowing forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper thy inhabitants. The very substance of earth is being quickened into greater activity, and as the children of God walk the earth, so shall they feel the currents of God flowing in, quickening them into greater love, loyalty, and desire for thy freedom. O America, thou hast seemed to have become bound, but thou art not. Thou art entering into the great freedom. Thou hast seen in the throes of pain, but thou wilt be born into the great peace, health, happiness, and prosperity. We give praise and thanks that it is God's wisdom, the mighty I am present speaking. The Christ child enfolding thee, America has ground into majesty and power. It no longer pleads, but commands obedience of all that is of the outer to the service of the inner presence, the power of divine love governing thee and consuming all unlike itself. America, we give praise and thanks that thou art a great jewel within the heart of God, the lamp of illumination, lightened by the mighty iron presence, the chalice, the crystal cup, holding within its pure radiance the freedom, peace, health, prosperity, and illumination of those who dwell within thy embrace. May all the world feel the radiance and be blessed by it. Peace, 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 and on earth goodwill to men. That was Arcturus. And here's a note. And whose note is this? All right. Note. I would suggest that sometime each day you think of yourself as a radio station sending forth peace and goodwill to all mankind. Know that in this mighty consciousness, the limitless power of the mighty I am presence flows forth to each individual and gives that which he or she is ready to receive, bringing enlightenment and decision to everyone. Be conscious that your own mind are such powerful divine centers that at any time you can make quick, unerring decisions through the power of divine love. Recognize that your mind is but a vehicle of the great master presence of the mighty I am presence within, and that it is to obey that inner presence at all times, commanding it to always act with decision, alertness, and quickness, and that all human sense of wavering be forever consumed. The new cycle. That's the heading of this, the new cycle. Today is a focal point for 10,000 years. 10,000. The beginning of another cycle of 10,000 years in which the great ones from Venus, who have always been instrumental in the upliftment of humanity and our earth. This day comes forth and pours out to humanity throughout the earth a mighty radiance. This will bring about more quickly a greater stabilization and confidence in the hearts of many public officials. It will cause them to have a strong, unwavering desire to establish America in confidence and prosperity, and make them feel a deeper love and loyalty for her progress than ever before. Many will have learned that they cannot rule humanity with a ruthless hand, for they are seeing that the inroads of control which they had desired to gain over others, is returning to themselves for the redemption. If this lesson can be impressed upon them sufficiently, a great calamity will be averted. In the quickening period, things can be done in a short period of 20 years that would ordinarily require 100 years. That was the end of that, the great cycle. So that was Arcturus speaking about what is to come, the beginning of a 10,000 year cycle. And this cycle is supposed to be a cycle of the golden age, an age of love. Saint Germain's description of New Year's Eve conclave at the Royal. Okay, Saint Germain. Now we're moving over here to page 5 of volume 4. Saint Germain's description of the New Year's Eve's conclave at the Royal Teuton. So in January 1st, 2035, there was a conclave at the Royal Teuton. This is a sacred retreat that if you are lucky enough to go into, when you come out, you are ascended. These are one of the secret retreats around America called the Royal Teuton. Let me see how many pages we got here. 1 page, Saint Germain. Okay. It is with great joy that I relate to you briefly some of the activity that took place at the Royal Teuton last night. And last night was January 1st, 1935. 214 of the ascended masters were present, and 12 from Venus. The AllSeeing Eye was in the most powerful action known thus far. Great rays of light were made permanent to our nation's capital and the capital of each state, so that a constant radiation might pour forth to these focal points and also to the principal cities of Europe, India, China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, South America, Africa, and Mexico. A similar activity of the radiation from the Golden City and Shambhala was also poured forth, making a triple activity for the blessing of mankind. Every effort is being made to avoid as much destructive activity as possible throughout the world. The activities of the past 3 months has been tremendously encouraging, and we do have high expectations for this year. Being so well aware of the free will of humanity, we can but trust in their harmonious cooperation with the conscious radiation pouring forth from the above mentioned triple activity. There were outpouring of light. So what's happening here is they're having various ceremonies and rituals and stuff like that to bring love and light to the planet Earth. They often happen at these sacred retreats that are around America that are not open to the general public, like some retreats and ashrams are. You have to obtain a high state of consciousness to be allowed in to these retreats, or at least a high state of preparation to be allowed into these retreats. And this is what they're speaking about here in these words that we're reading now. There were outpourings of light from the tall master from Venus, Jesus, and the great divine director, such as I have not known before in my experience. The many who have been fully aware of my sincere efforts for the blessing of America have now joined me in the full power to achieve all possible that the cosmic law and the law of individuals will permit. The cosmic law are daily giving greater freedom in this activity, which is the thing that gives us such great encouragement. There were many students present last night, for which I am very grateful. There is much detail of the activity which took place that I now reveal at this time, but I assure you, all the students, that it was marvelous beyond description. The great host of ascended masters joined me in their love, light, blessings, and opulence to the students, to America, and to the world, that this year may be unparalleled in its happiness to mankind. In the fullness of my love, Saint Germain. Reprint from volume 3. This is a reprint from volume 3. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, Discourse 2. Saint Germain, the Invocation, another short invocation. The mighty I am present from the heart of the great central sun. We face thy sunshine. That's the whole invocation. I want to ask you, Miss Bliss, do you remember what year World War II started? Can you hear me? No? Okay, you're in the back. All right. I don't remember, but this is happening just before that, and they're preparing or trying to prepare peace on earth for all mankind. In fact, trying to bring America into the world into a golden age, and this was this is January 7th, literally a week later. No, this is a couple of years earlier. This is July 7th, 1932. All right. The Discourse. And this says reprint from volume 3.
He's Lalji.
Oh, you're
Lalji.
back.
Yes.
Yes.
World War II was around 1939, which is around the Great Depression.
Right. And in fact, the Great Depression, that helped bring on was one of the decisions to help America go into World War II.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
How interesting.
The banks wanted America to go into the war, so they created a depression. And the banks know how to create depressions. You know, they've been at this for a long time, and the people that rule this world rule other worlds. And so they got many systems to implement to keep a world in this state here. I think the problem in this world is that there's more than one faction running things. We have 22 genetic experiments going on planet Earth right now. You got the Luciferians, you got the Satanists, you got then you got the Alliance. And the Alliance is a group of countries right now who have gotten together to take take the world out of the hands of the sinister forces and the satanic forces that have control of all of our nations and her people. So they're trying to break something that has never been broken before. And I think it's something like
that's interesting. Do you see what's going on right now with the interest rates and how it's affecting the financial area, the financial industry, and with all the job loss?
Yes,
so
there
are predictions that we are headed for a recession or a depression with a combination of inflation, which we have right now, but also something called stagflation, which means that a lot of job loss, but then you still have to pay high prices for everything, basically squeezing the average person, squeezing the average man, the average worker.
Yeah. And all of this is for a purpose. It's for a purpose. This squeezing us into poverty is for a purpose. And one of the key things that I see with this work, with Saint Germain's work, they're trying to bring the whole planet to a state of God consciousness, that every human being becomes a Christ conscious being. So of course that's a major work. Now here's the other thing. Here's the other side of that. The sinister forces, the satanic forces, the other people who don't want that, right? The Draco, the Satanists, and these people. And they know that America, the focal point for the Cindy Basses is America. So America, from the information from the cities and the great beings in the great central sun, in the center of this galaxy, they said America is going to turn that world around. It'll be America. That includes North, South, and Central America, which in reality is one continent. It's not two. It's really one. And but it's that whole landmass of the North, South, and Central that still is America. And they're saying that this continent of people are going to change the whole world. Now, America, United States of America, was like the base of where it was going to start. And what I realized, it's very possible that they may take over America, the United States of America. In fact, they have. They've done this. And but they really want to take it to a satanic reality where, and they're getting very close to it too right now, so that America, the United States of America, has no chance of leading the world and becoming, creating nothing but Christ-like beings. They would have no chance. But there's the other countries on this continent that we're calling two continents. So it may have to be another country that's uplifted, and not the United States of America, that brings the whole world into existence. So this is the work. In essence, this is the work. What you do, what Uncle Hank does, what we do, you know, to try our own ascension. We're working toward our own ascension. So this is what they're trying to get all us to do to change the world. Now, if we was to all become sitters, imagine if there was thousands of sitters in America alone, thousands of godlike beings, or even 1,000. That'd be like 50 in every state or something. That'd be quite remarkable. That'd be really, really interesting. 50 godlike men in every state. Anyway, let me continue. Okay. The discourse. Daily exercise. I see Uncle Hank is back. Daily exercise. You may do this at any time during the 24-hour period. So he's given an instruction for a daily exercise. You may do this at any time during the 24 hours. Stand erect, face the east, and say mentally or aloud. Be guided by your own feeling as to whether you should say it aloud or not. This is an exercise, y'all, but let it be firm. And here it is. Mighty God in me, I face thy eternal sunrise and receive thy mighty radiance and activity visible, manifest in my experience now. The use of this sets into motion certain powerful principles. So I got to put this in my daily discipline, my daily decrees in the morning. So Saint Germain is saying the use of this sets into motion certain powerful principles. I wonder what they are. If the student uses this, it says warning. Okay, so what we're seeing, what we got going on here, he's saying stand erect, face east, and say mentally or aloud. Be guided by your own feelings, whether you should say it aloud or not, but let it be firm. Mighty God in me, I face thy eternal sunrise and receive thy mighty radiance and activity, visible, manifest in my experience now. The use of this sets into motion many certain powerful principles. Now here's a warning. Why is there a warning here? Warning. If the student used this, they should analyze themselves first and see if they are really sincere in their determination to have and serve the light unconditionally. If they be sincere, let them stand to the light and then go forth. Awake, stand to the light and serve only the one presence of right and justice. Know that God, the mighty I am presence, in you governs and control all unfoldment in perfect divine order. As the sea holds all created life in its embrace, which is designed for its sphere, so the earth, which is designed for its sphere, so the air holds within its embrace those created forms of life belonging to it. There are two links ever active between the human and the divine, or the physical and the white fire body. We may call upon these forms of life to give us the best of their element. Man is the only creator in harmony. The elements and their inhabitants are always harmonious in themselves. And it is only when one gets out of one's element that inharmony is created. But inharmony is not the element itself. The human element, or other spheres of human, is the only element in creation that deliberately creates inharmony and consciously misuses the energy of the God sustaining it. This looks like a jewel coming up. This is the only sphere in the universe where those who function within have taken command and declared themselves independent of God. Wow. I mean by this, those who are refusing to acknowledge the active presence of God in their lives. Now, that statement is extremely powerful. He is saying, this is the only planet in the universe where those who function within it have taken command and declared themselves independent of God. That's deep. So there's nowhere else in the universe where people who inhabit the planet decide that they are different from God. But planet Earth, we decided that. Okay. No principle or activity can be blamed for the misuse mankind makes of it. All through the ages, humanity has tried to place upon God the responsibility for its destructive activity. Hence, the ruse of manufacturing gods who could be either angry or joyous, according to mankind's whim. Okay? I assure you from my own observation that those great ones, far greater than I, through eons of investigation, have indisputable proof that there is but one God, the life, wisdom, and energy of all creation. Therefore, the energy of God cannot be blamed for the inharmony created when someone misuses it. Here's a jewel. Neither can the principle of banking be blamed because dishonest bankers. Neither can the activity or principle of giving out information by the press be blamed because malicious reporters or dishonest editors. I assure you that the day is not far distant when the principle of activity will be used in their highest constructive powers. The constructive, educational, moving picture will always be used as the quickest, easiest, and most certain way of educating the outer perception. So interesting. I was just reading the book on the bankers and the crooked things that they do. It's as if all the banking industry is stealing, conning, and swindling the people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I knew that they were doing it, but I didn't know how they were doing it. So when you go we know how the bank. Well, we know the bank is swindling people. We just don't know how. We know the press is no more than a propaganda mechanism for the sinister forces. But I just finished reading a book called Top Bankers' Secrets. I think I finished it yesterday or the day before yesterday. And in that book, they tell you how the bank is cheating us, and because they're giving you an insight into what is money and what is not money. And one of the things that are money is a promissory note. We believe that a promissory note is a promise to pay a debt, but in fact, the promissory note is money itself. And so when you go to buy a house or you go to buy a car, what the bank does is they take your promissory note, unbeknownst to you, they send it to the Treasury. The Treasury pays for the whole car or the whole house the moment you're signing up for it. The bank takes your promissory note, they send it to the Treasury, they get the money, they take that money, put it into their account, and then lend you their so-called money. But in reality, you are the one that paid fully for the car, and now they're going to have you pay that price for that car a second time at interest, or I should say with interest, for 30 years, something that you immediately paid for. And that's just one of the crooked things that the banks are doing. Anyway, let's continue. Too long has mankind, FW, too long has mankind usurped and misused the energy of good, which is God. The inner quickening by the cosmic radiation drew mighty arisen messengers of God into the heart of each individual, is rapidly drawing the human desires into the divine. As is the case in all seeming struggles between two forces, so in the conditions of today, they are but the old conditions being repeated, and out of it will come, for the first time on earth, a permanent established condition, and the right attitude of mind in this outer activity of humanity. So that's a really powerful statement right there. He's saying here, too long has mankind usurped and misused the energy of God, which is God. The inner quickening by the cosmic radiation through the mighty arisen messengers of God into the hearts of each individual is rapidly drawing the human desires into the divine, as is the case in all seeming struggles between two forces. So in the conditions of today, they are but the old conditions being repeated, and out of it all will come, for the first time on earth, a permanent established condition and right attitude of mind in the outer activity of humanity. So they're saying that they're bringing about the right conditions in the outer minds of human beings with what they do behind the scenes. I want so much to have each one of the students keep before them the fact that they alone are the governor of their lives and its activity, and are commanded to choose what they wish to manifest in their life. Always remember that they are not to stop and worry. Always remember that they are not to stop and worry about this or that individualization. They are to fix their vision, which is God's inner activity, on the goal and hold it there with a firm, joyous determination to reach it, to become the Christ, to attain full realization. No advice to others. Knowing this, there is no one who should attempt to advise another. The God in each is the only one who knows what is best for each individual. Those who are experiencing discordant activity should go where they can be absolutely quiet and uninterrupted. Then, to the best of their ability, enter into the great silence. And as they become quiet, say, Mighty I am present. I demand to know the right attitude and activity that I should take in adjusting and solving this problem. If the answer does not come at once, each day enter into the silence again and continue to demand the divine answer to come forth. Also demand to be shown through the inner visions every detail which should be carried out. Then all of a sudden, possibly when most unexpected, will come forth into outer consciousness the full unquestionable solution to the problem or situation. So that's a very great technique to use to JD, can you call Sister Lucretia? She's calling, but she's leaving a message. Can you call Sister Lucretia? This? All right. Okay. So this is a great technique to use to when you got a decision. Oftentimes I ask Uncle Hank, what do you think? He always says, go to your God self and ask. Go to your God self and ask. Of course, that's a great technique too. I think I'm gonna use it more than thinking that I know so much that I can give people advice. So this is what he said. Go someplace, be quiet. This is what Saint Germain is saying. You got a problem in your life. Instead of looking for others to give you guidance and experience, something that seems to be pouring out like as if it's money. Ask your God self to show you the way. Ask your God self to give you the guidance, the light. And if it doesn't come today, go after it tomorrow. If it doesn't come tomorrow, go after the day after that. God will let you know. I had a great desire, y'all, an extremely great desire. But I thought, how can you accomplish that? You're going to need hundreds of billions of dollars to accomplish this task. And, you know, it's not like you're 17 and you can do what you used to do. And then God put that thought straight to rest. It was like, forget about what you used to do and how old you are now. You got this task, you want to do it, go for it. If the heavens fall, keep going for what it is that you want and let nothing stop you. Next thing I know, I needed billions of dollars. And next thing I know, I can see a possibility of earning and accumulating trillions. Anyway, let's continue. Running away. So this is the take. He's saying, uh, go for what you need. Go within to find the answers that you need. And now he's saying running away. And this is in italics. So let's see what this is about. Running away. As one may not at any time run away from anything, this will make clear to him the complete situation and reveal whether he is being held by the hypnotic influence or whether he is fully fulfilling a just obligation. Situation. Okay. If I were to unleash my love for my students and attempt to advise them, I might be interfering with opportunity of immense value to them because I might know a thing, but does not permit me to take away from the student viable opportunities. Viable opportunities to make their own decision to go within and find the answer for themselves. No one should feel distress or lose hope because of outer conditions when a few moments contemplation can but reveal the fact that there is only one power, energy, or activity to use or that is being used, which is God. I want to speak on this. One power, energy, or activity to use or that is being used, which is God. You know, for a long time I heard God is love, and I got the direct experience of what that is really like. And then I had an opportunity to see the power that's being poured into us by God, right? It's our own God self, the energy that we are being poured into the individual, which is the individualized stratum of God, us human beings. I saw this volcano of energy. This was a volcano tornado of energy is coming directly into our head, and it's the pure God energy. But once it gets past this part, we are that pure God energy, and the God energy will move toward whatever we think and whatever we do. The energy is given to us. We do what we will with it. We can qualify it and empower it with the God knowledge, the God words, the God action, God activity, the very concept of God, right? We could qualify it with that. Or we could qualify this divine energy being poured into our head, into our body, with our own wickedness and with our own path that's going wrong. And oftentimes we know we're going wrong. We decide, look, I'm just going to go wrong anyway. I'm just going to do wrong, you know. Maybe God will forgive me, maybe not. I'll pray. I'll ask forgiveness. You know, I don't think it works like that. The way it works is God gives us the fruit of our actions, and the fruits always corresponds with the action. Okay. God or activity to use or that is being used, which is God. So I mentioned this, seeing this volcano of energy, because it gave me a clear understanding of, well, what is God? Once I saw this tornado of energy coming into my head, then I got to realize, yeah, and you know, you could almost see this energy. It's not that you could almost see, you could see this energy. It was all around. It's not just coming directly into your head. It was coming directly into your head in a very powerful way. But it was in reality all around us, right? This energy of God. And in fact, in volume 2 of the, either volume 2 or volume 3 of the Saint Germain's Discourses, he says that God hides out in the electrons, so you can meet him there. In fact, the power of the spoken word activates electrons to do your bidding. You know, in the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So if you have the power of the spoken word, you need to understand very clearly, you are God. Let's continue. When one depends upon and demands of this supreme presence the right solution of any problem or situation, it will be solved or adjusted with the most wonderful divine activity. The divine solution will far transcend anything the outer mind could conceive of. I want to read that again. It is very powerful. This is a jewel. The divine solution will far transcend anything the outer mind could conceive of, even if it had the power of accomplishing within itself. Knowing that the outer mind of consciousness is a mighty vehicle through which the tremendous energy of God can be consciously directed, then we know that we have every moment, all about us, the most powerful presence for protection and direction, and the supreme solver and adjuster of every condition that opportunity brings before us. In other words, if we use the power of God, it's only a matter of time before we realize that we are just simply that power. If, for example, if we're constantly saying the name of God every day, which is a technique to take you to God consciousness, you will become God. Your actions, your energy, constantly being used as God, for God, as God, you will then realize yourself as God in the flesh, which is what we are. We are God in the flesh. We are individualized portions of God in the flesh. Our body is an individualized temple to house God in the flesh. And this God in the flesh is who? Ourselves. This God in the flesh is who? Ourselves. Okay. Wow, this is like we're getting ready to get real deep here. It would save us so much. All right, let me get to the next sentence up there. So energy of God can be consciously directed. Then we know that we have every moment, all about us, the most powerful presence of protection and direction, and the supreme sovereign adjuster of every condition that opportunity brings before us. It would save so much distress to the individual if on the first intimation of any intruding discord, he or she might read, as it were, into the heart of this mighty presence and say, seemingly the outer has made a mistake. I call on the Lord forgiveness. See that this is adjusted quickly and completely. So he's saying, like, as we move in our world and things become this way or that way out of what we want, some of us have disease. Some of us have a lack of money, which is almost a disease. You know, it's definitely a mental disease. Some of us have a lack of camaraderie, of friendships, companionship, which is absolutely necessary for a human being. We're gregarious by nature. We need someone in our lives. He is saying, you know, when anything gets out of order, if you're moving in the light of God, if you're really like, you know, in that light, and then you see something come up that's out of order, and you're in the light of God, he's saying, you know, just call to your God self, seemingly, and say, seemingly, the outer has made a mistake. I call on the Lord forgiveness. See that this is adjusted quickly and completely. Just say to your God self, see that this is adjusted quickly and completely. I want to say this because I don't think we really got our relationship with God and our presence here on earth or any planet that God wants to have us in. We are emissaries of God. We are God in an emissary form of a human being. If we keep ourselves into our real self, it's only a matter of time before we trip into being that only, into being the God force, because God feel comfortable with putting the full magnitude of itself within our body. In other words, we become the Christ. We exist as the Christ. We'll manifest as the Christ. And I've said this before, and it merits to keep repeating. Jesus' last name was not Christ. According to some, I've heard many different last names, but he was definitely in the line of David. So he was royalty. But Christ is a state of consciousness. Christ is a state of consciousness that we will all attain one day or another, depending on when we decide that we're going to go for it. Take a firm grip on the inner presence to govern every inharmony and to remove any wrong condition permanently. The highest and quickest action is always to make the demand to the great inner presence. God's energy always acts according to the consciousness we have of it. Opportunity is a very poor master. Opportunity is a very poor master. It is you who must always govern it. Use opportunity but never let it use you. That might seem a little confusing. This is how I understand that. I thought to myself, I want to do some great thing, but how many years do I got left to do this? Even if I started at birth doing it as a little baby, it is still a great task. And how much time do I have to do such a great thing? Then as reading this work, what like Saint Germain is saying, it's like, forget about all of that. Forget about how much money, how much time, how much ability you got to do a thing. Think only of you want to do that thing and you're going to do it, and let God do the rest. You step in there as a worker for this thought that you had that was motivated by God. You step in and say, no matter what it may be, it could be something great, right? You could say, I want to build another country. Man, that's going real out there. But as all of us have seen, there are many countries around the planet. Somebody decided we're going to do this. We live in a country that a number of men decided that, not that long ago, a couple of 100 years ago, we're going to make a new country. All right. I don't think they went about it the right way, but they decided to do it and they did it. Right now in Israel, or rather I should say in Palestine, the Israelis are going in there, murdering the Palestinians. They decided they wanted a country. And the way that they were going to get it was they'll get a powerful ally to help them get this country and stop any country from stopping them from taking over that country. In other words, we're going to take over Palestine, kill and rape its people. And because we got somebody who can protect us against any nation who may try to step in and protect this nation, we got somebody to put them all in check. And the Israelis found that person, and they made a contract with him. And that's what they're doing now. America did pretty much the same thing. They came in, they killed us, the Native Americans, and brought some Africans over, mixed us together, took over this whole continent. And if you believe it's two continents, North, South, and Central America, took them all over. I don't think we need to go about it like that, but I definitely think that if you let God come in and say, you say to God, I want a country, I want to build a whole new country, a country of love and light. All you got to do is make a declaration that you are going to do it. You're going to serve God and making this thing happen. And then watch how things unfold. Keep it in foremost in your mind. Keep it, and if a country is too big, then do a city. City too big, do a town. Of love and light. Do something that nobody else has done. God can do this. But if you want to be the person who offers the greatest amount of service to bring about that task, then you don't have to think that you're doing it. It's God doing it, and your service into this great task is what you do. All right? This is how you move on that. Or anything that is for the benefit of others, and especially humanity at large. See, you don't have to put your ego into it. You can say, God, look, this is what I would like to do. You do it, I'll be your servant. You do the work, and then show me what I need to do to make this thing come about. Right? Like this, the ego's not involved, because the ego doesn't bring about good. The ego has one objective, that is to destroy. That's what it does. It destroys. All right? Okay. The assistance of the masters. The great ones may and do give assistance at all times, whether the student knows it or not. One of the greatest activity of the ascended masters, which they perform for the students, is to give courage, strength, assurance, until such a time as they make a strong enough contact with their own inner presence to fully and clearly loose the mighty wisdom and activity into the outer self. So the great ones are helping us to get to a point where we're in contact with our own God self. The result of this radiation is that the student builds permanent strength of character, and it saves them endless repetitions and recreations of imperfection. In the past, down through the centuries, the call to the mighty iron presence within the individual has been but intermittent. Now the work before each one is to make the contact with the God within and hold it. This was a powerful statement right here. I'm going to go back. Strength, assurance, until such a time as when a strong enough contact with their own inner presence to fully and clearly loose its mighty wisdom and activity into the outer self. So the ascended masters are helping us to have strength, courage, strength, and assurance until such time as they make a strong enough contact with their own inner presence to fully and clearly loose the mighty wisdom and activity within the outer self. The result of this radiation is that the student builds permanent strength and character, and it saves them endless repetitions and recreations. In other words, it saves them from taking birth after birth after birth after birth ad infinitum, all into eternity, deep into eternity, instead of becoming a God-conscious being in the one life that they live, this life, for us, all right? And anyone hearing me in this platform, understand this. If you want to become God, that is a decision. Let me rephrase that. If you want to become aware of yourself as God, that is the decision that you make. And once the decision is made, you need to go straight for it. You don't have to go at full force at first, but you need to go straight for it. Don't dilly-dally. Don't waver. You will do it, but not the best thing you can do. Stay focused and sincere in what you have to do. You don't have to do many things. Instead of yoga, we did every technique that there was. Prayers, decrees, chanting, mantra, meditation, and selfless service, or what we call Guru Seva, service to the Guru or service to God, service to humanity. These are all the techniques used. There are a few others, but these are basically the main techniques that are used to take an ordinary human being to the God conscious state. It is what we are supposed to do. It is what life was meant for, right? We got lost in this journey. We got very lost in this journey. All right. All right. The idea is not to ease up as soon as the problem is solved and to think that no further effort is required, but to keep calling to the mighty inner presence and recognizing and accepting its going before to see that these foolish human problems are consumed at the first intimation. In this way, the divine self keeps you free from the outer disturbing or binding conditions. Experience is but opportunity and is one of the most powerful friends the outer self has, for it gives the outer a chance to bring forth the divine character of life, which knows no imperfection. Allow me to say again, okay? Here's the jewel. Allow me to say again, mighty I am present, reveal to me your true solution of this situation in which it seems to be concerned, in which I seem to be concerned. Come forth in your wisdom and strength and solve this in divine order. Without another moment's delay, I recognize that you do not need time, place, or space, but that your all-powerful activity is now. Accept this fact. Explanation of the cosmic karma. So what he's saying, decree into your world what it is that you want. If you got cancer, decree into your world that you are going to be healed of cancer. There's a number of places around the world where they're curing cancer. Not in America. I mean, there's some in America, but there are a number of places around the world that they have found a cure for cancer. In fact, they have found a cure for every single solitary disease on planet Earth. They're keeping this knowledge from us. And I'm so glad to see you come back on the screen. It makes it easier for me to talk. Anyway, everybody, I want y'all to view this divine woman here. It's just such a pleasure just to see her, to see that women like this in America still exist, that a pure woman still exists in America. You read the thing about the Padmini. I was saying to myself, is Miss Bliss a Padmini? She sure looks like it. But it's a great thing, y'all. Really, it's a great thing to have a pure woman. It just makes men smile all the time. So when you're around men most of the time, they're always smiling, I bet. They're always smiling, yes. You know, all in the face, and it's just a wonderful thing. Yeah. Yeah, it is, right? Anyway, okay. There are a great many individuals to whom this idea of truth would would give immense relief and great freedom in a very short time. Interesting. There are a great many individuals to whom this idea of truth would give immense relief and great freedom in a very short time. I cannot stress too strongly how the individual, being the only creator of inharmony, can, by the conscious application of the law of forgiveness, remove forever from his or her individual activity a great deal that would be very distressing. Yeah. The old idea of karma, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, has not been correctly understood, except by a few. The majority have thought that karma must be balanced individual to individual. In some cases, this is imperative, but there is so much that does not have to be balanced in that way when the correct idea of it is understood. One of the unfortunate things when the idea of karma was advanced was the above mistake. It caused individuals to consciously bind themselves to each other for adjustment. I'm definitely going to comment on this, but I want to continue to the end of this paragraph. Taking into consideration that each individual has free will, you can see how this individual to individual balancing might become an endless thing. If one individual be not in the mood to cooperate in this adjustment of a condition, how then could the activity ever be ended? There must be and is a wiser means of help to do this. If the above material is carefully contemplated by the student, they will find greater relief and peace from realizing that they have this wise presence upon which they may call in all conditions. I want to comment on this because I don't know if the message was obscured in the words. This eye for an eye concept, right? I had 3 sisters. All 3 of them were raped. I was 12 at the time when it happened, and they were all younger than me. So we're talking about a great tragedy. Now, I was of a strong personality, from birth. I just was born like that. And I said, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to get him, and I'm going to take his life for what he did. I had already made the decision when I was 12 years old. I definitely felt I was right. I still think I was right. I still think I am right? But this is what I learned in that process as the time went by, because I didn't know where he lived. I couldn't get to him. And plus, I'm a little boy. This person was a grown man. That if you hit or strike somebody in anger, you pull from them all their negative karma, depending on the level of that hit and what it does. Now, let's say this person who I wanted to get, right? I killed. I absorbed all his negative karma inside me, and I got to now take his karmic reality. Parents hit their children at times, but this process started from the parent wanting to take the karma from a child who did something wrong. They said to themselves, it was a sacrifice. Hitting your child was a sacrifice because that hit takes away the karma from that child. This is how it actually started, this punishing a child through violence. I'm going to take away your karma. Deep, isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is. Very much. It is. But initially, the parent of planet Earth did this to pull karma so that their child would not experience the karma that they created in their actions, no matter what they may have done, right? And this is how this what he's saying here, this eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth, is no end to it. Because if you decide I'm going to do this to this person who did these things to my sisters, what about somebody else, a family member of this other person that you decide you're going to kill, who makes the same decision that you did? Then I'm going to go kill you because you killed my uncle or my father or whoever this guy was, to whoever he was, to whoever he was related to. You decide you're going to do it. and then somebody else from that family decides they're going to do it, and this karma just keeps piling on itself with no end.
Wow.
I realized that anybody that or I shouldn't say I realized, I discovered in the Mahabharata, anyone who rapes a woman will go to a special type of planet and be given a special type of body that's extremely sensitive to pain. And there they will live for billions of years and be punished every day of their life. This is what happens to a man who rapes a woman. And in this particular body, it's actually immortal. It lives for billions of years, this body, so that you could experience pain for billions of years. And there is no way out of this planet. There's only one way out of that planet. One way. And that is if a siddha being, when y'all hear me say siddha, I'm talking about a God conscious being, a being who is on par with God, right? Unless a siddha being comes to that world to get you and pull you out, you're going to be there for eternity.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, yeah, deep. So I thought to myself, do you want to take on this guy's karma that bad? Or just let him stay there? Because who I'm not going to get him, at least in my mind, I'm not going to get him. But who knows how karmas really work? I may never forget about this thing a billion years from now. And I might say to myself, as a siddha being, now when is that guy still in this hellish world? And go and get him out of there and see to it that he takes a birth while I'm his teacher and he becomes enlightened a billion years from now. I just thought like that. I don't know if it can happen. You know, I'm just thinking.
Right.
You know, karma is some deep stuff. Karma is very, very, very deep. I have a book that I wrote, right? Some of this is real, some of it is not. I'm not going to say what's real and what's not. Where a guy in this book, he shoots a guy who kills his little brother, right? And he shoots him 5 times, one right in the eye. The guy was supposed to die, but he didn't die. Wow. The next time he sees this same guy that he shot 5 times is pulling them off of train tracks that was coming, that would have just crushed and mangled his body, of course, killed him. Pull him off the train tracks to save his life. Because he had fell down from a cliff and he's on the train track. The train couldn't stop. Now, why would a guy that he tried to kill save his life? But this is karma. You never know how it's going to balance out. So it's better not to indulge in an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, because the very eye you may be using to balance out some karma. You may take, instead of taking 1, you might take 2. And this blind person, this destiny might have been to save your life. But they can't do it now because they can't see you. Anyway, a word to the wise. Let's get into the benediction. Wow. We give praise and thanks that shortly the messengers will fill every office in this land, and that the reign of God is now manifest on earth. It's interesting here. It seems like the benedictions and the invocations are shorter. Okay. Now it's 11:41. All right. If there's any questions or comments of anyone in the Zoom who I guess we just have to wait for Hank to put them in. If you have any questions or any comments on what we just read, that was chapter 2 or Discourse 2. They're shorter than the other books. If you do, raise your hand, say something. I can hear you. All right. That's to the Zoom. Anyway, the invocation. Thou mightiest of the mighty, thou mighty God, we face thy sunrise. These thy children face the sunrise of the soul and receive thy all-sustaining power, thy courage, thy wisdom, and thy illuminating presence. Thou mightiest of all energy, we accept thy presence. Thou all-powerful, active presence, animating our minds and forms. Thou mighty intelligence, we accept thy all-powerful activity directing every movement of the outer form, holding it close in thy mighty embrace. The Discourse. Okay. So the discourses are shorter. We're going to end it on this in this discourse too. God's certain assurance. The discourse. So this is the title, God's certain assurance. All right. In every activity of life, there must be something to which the consciousness can be anchored or which can stabilize it. In the outer mind, there are principles and formulas that it may use in coming to a definite conclusion. For instance, by following the principle of mathematics, we come to a certain result. When a formula is worked out, you produce certain results. No question about it. How much more important it is then to get the attention of the individual fixed upon that indwelling presence with the same assurance. In other words, it is important to become your God self. You are part of a Trinity. You are 1/3 part of a Trinity. You are the God portion of emotions of the Trinity. You rule the emotional part. You are, men and women, are the God of emotions. This is us. All right? All right. When a formula is worked out, you produce certain results. No question about it. How much more important it is then to get the attention of the individual fixed upon the indwelling presence. You know, yourself, God. All right. With the same assurance. You must know that the principle of life in you and enfolding you is far greater than the outer thing which you have experienced for long centuries and have unknowingly clung to. So we created a being, you know, our ego. We created it to protect ourselves. We created it because we came to a planet and we're in a state of love, and we're like a child. We're little. We don't have power. We're loving. We're forgiving, but we're little, and we're put in abuse on many, many levels almost as soon as we get here. Some people come to the planet, and the moment they come out of their mother's womb, they're smacked on the behind, you know, by a doctor, thinking that this will make the child come alive. Nothing could be further from the truth. So your first experience in this hellish world is to experience violence from a doctor. And the excuse for this violence is that it wakes up the baby and they want it to cry so that you know it's alive. I gotta say, y'all, I don't know if I've ever heard anything as stupid as that. You know, I was able to be in the birthing room with my children, and that was not a necessary condition to bring them about. They're crying because you just hit them on the back, on their butt, and violence is why they cry. Mm-hmm. They don't need, to cry. Okay, all right. May I remind you that what I gave on July 7th, may I remind you of what I gave on July 7th. Now they're talking about, 1932 again. This is July 11th. Do the following anytime during the waking hours. Stand face to east and say verbally or mentally, but let it be firm. Mighty God in me, I face the eternal sunrise and receive its mighty radiance and activity, visible, manifest in my experience. Follow your feelings as to whether you say it verbally or mentally each time. He said this. You will find that this produces certain results, the nature of which I may not speak of, in order that you may receive the full benefit. If students use this, they should first analyze themselves and see if they are sincere in their standing to the light. If they are sincere, let them stand to the light and then go forth. The principle of God, which is your active consciousness, is always enfolding the outer form. It is the mightiest of principles that the outer self may be aware of and cling to. By doing this, you have the same certain definite results with the same great assurance of success that you receive in the use of other principles or formulas in mathematics or chemistry. The master presence in you is the mightiest of chemists and the greatest of all principles or formulas. Let me interpret as I see it, what this paragraph I just read. It comes down to this. Many of us have a great, great dream. We got great dreams. We got great dreams. Some of us get to a certain age and we be like, yeah, well, maybe that's for the next life, or I missed my time. You know, I don't know if I can do this. It's just too great. I'm not that great. All that is jive. All that has no value in reality, no matter what it is that you want to do. If you have beat yourself down to the point where you think you can't get up a certain amount of money, or you think you can't defeat a disease, or you think that someone's superior, or you think a whole race of people is oppressing you, like so many black people think here in America, it is all jive. Through the power of the spoken word, through the power of your own mind, you can flip the script like nobody's business, no matter what that script may be. Check this out. I know of a guy who he was arrested for an armed robbery when he was 18, maybe he was 17 years old. It was a time that, you know, the judge was going to say, look, we don't got to take this to trial. You know, I'll tell these guys, if they go to trial, they're going to get 20 years or 25 years if they find guilty. But I'll give them 1 year because they're young, they made a mistake, I'll give them 1 year. Now, this guy, this 18-year-old guy I'm talking about, his lawyer came to him and he said to him, he said, look, you go to trial, you got a good chance of getting 20 years. You take the 1 year, which means you'll only spend 8 months in jail. You'll be out in 8 months. You'll be convicted of a felony, but it's better than spending 20 years in jail. This is what the lawyer said to him, right? He says to the lawyer, he says, first thing he said to the lawyer was this. He said, have you gotten your clients? No, he didn't say that first. The first thing he said was, tell the judge, I'll take that year. And this is the 18-year-old guy, right? I'll take that year if his mother does the time with me in my cell. What a stupid thing to say. Anyway, he said it. And the lawyer looked at him like he was crazy. And then the very next thing he said to the lawyer was, have you ever gotten anybody out of a situation like this before? I mean, he's going to jail. The boy is going to jail for 20 years. He's 18 now. He'll be 38 years old before he get out, right? The lawyer said to him, I've done everything imaginable under the sun in this arena here. He said, but your chances of getting out of the situation that you found yourself in is 1 in a million. And the guy looked at him with joy in his eye. He says, good, I only need 1. And the lawyer looked at him like in absolute surprise. He was like, he's really crazy. He's a pure cuckoo boy, you know. But he said it with such conviction. Now I'm on the side watching this, okay? And he said it with such conviction that, good, I only need 1. The lawyer goes back into the judge. Now the judge was the lawyer's friend, all right? And he convinces the judge to let the guy go with 5 years of probation. So he gives him 5 years of probation or 3 years, something like this. And he don't go to jail that day. And this lawyer liked this kid thereafter, right? The kid's mother told him, look, I'm not going to pay. If he goes to jail, I'm not going to pay you the rest of the money either. So I think that might have been part of, you know, but the lawyer was rich. The money there's only $3,000 this guy, mother owed the lawyer. So, and she didn't pay him, even though he got him out, right? But the guy, this 18-year-old guy, said, well, if she don't pay the debt, I got to pay the debt. Right. The lawyer never got him and always admired him. Even though he's a kid, he admired him. Lawyer's grown man, he admired him. So 3 years later, the kid comes to the lawyer and he says to him, I understand my mother owed you $3,000, but I took that debt because she didn't owe it to you. I owe it to you. You know, she hired you. I didn't know you. I owe it to you. And I'm just here to give it to you. And he looked at him and he's like, I don't believe this kid. I just don't believe him. Now, I'm there with him. He was my best friend. And he just told him sit down and all like this. And, you know, here's the deal. Here's the point I'm trying to make. Whatever it is that you want to do in life, you got God to help you do it. It lives inside of you. The very force of God is you, and you use it according to your desire. or your capacity to understand, I can do anything. How can I do anything? The force of God is me. I am the force of God. I just got to surrender to that force and say, God, I surrender. Do it. You know, I can't even beat my heart, but you put these thoughts in my mind to do this thing. I can't pump the breath in and out of me. I'm not doing that. It's an automatic process, but it's not automatic. You're doing it. I can't pump the blood around my body at the tremendous speed that it goes around my body. You doing that, God. You doing it. I can't even see out my eyes. You're doing that. Right? Just breathing in, out, all like that. You're doing that. And automatically you're carrying on this function for me. For all intents and purposes, I'm an innocent bystander, a bystander to your functions of life. So you put in this mind, my mind, the thought to do this great thing. I'm thinking I don't have the capacity, I don't have the money, I don't have the ability. But let's flip that script on our thinking. You're right. You don't have the mind, the money, the time, the ability. So give it to God. And let God work through you to bring about what it is that you want in this world. I'm saying this to the people who are listening to this program so that you can think in your own mind. We are here to save a planet that is the most wicked planet in the entire universe. Right? Now, I was fortunate to have an understanding of how many galaxies are in this universe. Not planets, but galaxies. There are 500 trillion galaxies in this universe alone. And this is the smallest of all the other universes.
Wait,
Okay?
how many? 500 trillion?
500 trillion. This we're getting from the secret space program. Right. This we're getting from the secret space program. All right.
And we're not alone?
Now, we ain't even alone. Matter of fact, we need to start thinking, where did we come from? Because if the earth, according to the Bible, was inundated with water all around it, where did the people come from? The theory of evolution is shot full of holes. Don't believe it for 1 minute. Shot full of holes. Any kind of research done on, what's the guy's name who came up with this theory? Darwin. Any research done on the validity of that theory kicks it out the door. I mean, it's just kicked out the door so fast. It's like, what do we go with? But the sinister forces want us to believe this stupidity and this foolishness, right? The universe is teeming with life. The purpose of a planet is to sustain life. And life is everywhere, even in space. To say the least of just in a planet, even in space. Nonetheless, you have the power to do whatever it is you can think. And in fact, if there's a thought in your mind, especially for the benefit of others, this is God motivating and inspiring you to be in action, to make that thought come about. See, thoughts are very particular. Go ahead.
Someone from the chat has a question. Do all beings from other planets have free will also, as well as us? Do they have free will?
No, they do not.
Good question.
Free will is an experiment. Yeah, that's a real good question. Free will is an experiment. And this free will was offered to 49 planets in this galaxy. Only 49 planets to see what human beings would do, right? Naturally, what would happen is that you're a little baby, you stay in that state, you're basically in a relatively loving planet. You stay in that state, you grow into be a little boy, a little girl, you grow into be an adolescent, you know, and on many worlds, you come out of adolescence at 70 years old. And even on this world, people in the interior of the earth, they're coming out of this adolescent kind of like stage at 70, right? And what naturally happens, right? Because you're not living in wickedness. You're not thinking on wickedness. You're thinking on yourself as God. You're understanding, you're giving the teachers in the womb before you even take birth, right? And so you're inclined toward being yourself, toward being God, and you're taught the truth about yourself, right? People naturally become God conscious. It's like over time, it like trips, like you grow hair, and the next thing you know, you got no hair on your face for men, and then here this thing comes out of your face, itching you all the time. None, man, that's a joke. Anyway, you know, and so it's just a natural function of the body, right?
Right.
The natural function of the human being was to trip into God conscious states. That your pituitary gland, your pineal and pituitary gland would just start unleashing chemicals that will put you in the state of the bufo, wachuma, ayahuasca, like this. This is what happens, right?
Yeah.
Naturally. So what they wanted to see, and check this out, when you get to the level that you live on the sun, right, in the solar system, where you're all masters in that sun, right? So what they do is they have experiments, right, to benefit the human beings that are living on those planets. They do experiments to see, well, let's tinker around with this, let's tinker around with that. Well, let's see what will happen if a person was separated from their God self, from the Trinity that they belong, and given free will to do whatever they want to do, no matter what, good or bad or indifferent. Let's see what will happen. Let's do this experiment. Deep, ain't it? And so they're like, you know, why would you do that experiment? This is the play of consciousness. We do what we want. We play. Now we want to see what's going to happen here. We want to play and see what happens if we separate a God being from its own Trinity, take a portion out and allow it to do whatever it wanted to do. And let's see what happens. And out of these 49 planets, there was one planet of all the planets that was ahead of all the rest. I mean, it was in a golden age and it was moving. And there was this other planet in another galaxy, I should say, these other people in another galaxy that had destroyed their world behind their wickedness. But these people were extremely beautiful. They were pretty. The men and women, they were just pretty, okay? And they were looking for a planet in the universe to inhabit. And they came across our planet. They looked beautiful. We were in a godlike state. But it was discovered before they came to inhabit our planet, and there were guards that came out and it was like, y'all can't come here. Nonetheless, they said, we're looking for a planet to live. And they got the news. They knew everything about what happened. You're wicked. You're doing this. You're bad people. Can't come here. To the 49 planets. Can't come here. But one planet out of 49 was way ahead of all the other planets. And they said, why don't we give them a chance? If they come and live on our planet, we are all in a godlike state here. We're not all in the godlike state, but we're in a golden age, and we live going toward the godlike reality.
Right.
Let them come here where there's nothing but goodness, and because of the influence of nothing but goodness, it will change them. These beings were called the laggards, or those who fell behind in their spiritual progress. That's what they call them in the Bible, laggards, right? So they allowed them to come into that planet and to live among the people. What would you think, Miss Bliss, happened to that planet, the one that was ahead of all the other 49 planets? What do you think happened when they let the evil ones in to show them love and light?
Well,
got any idea?
I have no idea, but I would think it wouldn't be that good. I mean, these are the evil ones they're letting in, right?
Yes, these are the evil ones.
And they're supposed to show them love and light.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think that went well.
I think you're right.
You tell me. Yeah.
It didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. What planet do you think that might have been in these 49 planets that we're a part of?
Probably here.
Probably here. That is correct. They turned a planet that was in the golden age into the most wicked planet in the entire universe. So the wisdom with that is, if there is wickedness, don't let it into your environment. It can change your whole environment. It can change your whole environment. Now, this planet is the most wicked planet in the entire universe. I mean, if you was to say the solar system, that'd be one thing. We're talking about 36 planets, right? If you were to even say the galaxy, You're talking about billions and billions and billions of planets, right?
Mhm.
But the whole universe,
Mhm.
that's extra. That's really extra. So now this person, they asked about the free will, right? No, the most of the universe is the natural process of you become a God conscious being. The natural process is it. Just like you trip into out of babyhood into childhood, out of childhood into boyhood or girlhood, out of boyhood, girlhood into adolescence, they're tripping into God consciousness. They're tripping into their God conscious state. The price of free will is the tripping into, or the price of free will is like, this is not going to be an automatic process for you. This is going to be a karmic process, because your free will is going to determine what happens to you now. That's how this is. That's how this works out. So you got this planet where everybody just automatically became the Christ, right? Now, because they do what they want, and sometimes what they want to do is wrong, and sometimes they know it's wrong and they do it anyway, right? And then there is the karmic reaction of doing what you know is wrong and doing it.
Wow.
And,
so it's so many different versions and variations in regards to karma. So you have people who think the karma is from past life. You have people who think the karma can activate here in this life as you do it. Then you have people who think the karma comes from their ancestors and they are therefore clearing generational curses. I mean, it's so many different ways to analyze karma. It's so much.
Yeah, it is. And here's the deep thing about karma. The balancing factor of karma is impossible to figure out. Let me say that again. The balancing factor of karma is impossible to figure out. Suppose you actually did accidentally or purposely killed somebody like what they told us Hitler was, right? Suppose you accidentally killed that person.
Right.
Does it bring about good for you, or does it bring about a bad situation? So if you kill somebody, right, and that stops what they told us was 6 million people from being killed. It wasn't true, but that's what they told us. Let me not say just any old thing, because then they'll take this down. We got to say the untruths, even in the light of, right? Suppose that happened. You killed somebody like Stalin or Hitler or some such person. Does that mean you created good karma, or does it mean you created the karma of a murderer?
It's complicated when you think about Hitler and what he did. And so you think when you're killing him that you're saving people, but then you're taking the life of another person. So it's complicated. It's very complicated.
Yeah, very complicated. So do you get a boon for this task, or do you get the fruits of your action? But what are those actions? I saved 6 million people from being killed, or I got to pay the penalty of killing another human being.
Right.
How about it's both? How about it's both in every aspect of the karmic action? Well, you saved this, now you got that. You did this, now you get this. Can it be ameliorated? Can it be modified? Look, you killed this guy, and that saved 6 million people. So what can we do for you? Right? Well, we can see to it that you get killed as a baby and then take on another life. The murder is the karmic debt is satisfied. You're gone. You don't have to live life as a human being all day. And then your very next birth, you can become this, that, or other. Or, you get killed in that birth, and your very next birth, you experience the karma of saving 6 million people from dying. One thing for sure, the karma has to be balanced. It could also be balanced by you repeating the name of God 100,000 times. How about that?
How many times? 100,000
times. Oh, you think that's a lot?
I think it's a lot, Lalji.
Oh, no. It ain't nothing. 100,000 times, you could do that in 4 days. Or you could do it in 5 days. You did 20,000 a day. In 5 days, you knock out 100,000. Think of that. If you want to attain God, go ahead.
That goes with like counting with the beads or meditation. Like, how would one? We have so much going on in our lives. How could we even fathom doing something like that? It sounds like it would take all day or half the day at least.
How about all life? How about all your life you want to give to? Now, here's the mala beads, right? You're saying the name of God. Allah, Allah, Allah. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy. On the Mashivah. Or just Om. How about just Om over and over again? You know, which means I am. Or I am. I am. I am. I am. You're calling on God. I am. I am. I am. Or I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and life. How about Om Namah Shivaya? How about oh man, Hari Om? How about any number of mantras with the name of God? You're calling on God. What happens to a person that calls on God every day, all day? What happens to that? What happens to the mind of someone who is calling on God every day, 20,000 times a day? What would a mind like that be like?
I think it would be a changed mind, a changed mentality, probably their whole everything, the cells within them. Because when we speak, we're speaking on vibrations, and our words go out there with the energy. So I think it would be a changed person.
I would think that too. And fortunately for me, I've seen the results of people like this. I was fortunate to see about about 14 different people who were like this. I was in Bombay many years ago when it was Bombay and not Mumbai, right? And this guy was saying out loud, he was blind, he had a cup in his hand, and he was a beggar. And every single solitary step he took, it was like this. Allah, 1 step. Allah, 2 steps. Every single solitary step he took, he said the name of God. Now, I didn't see it like that when I was watching this guy. So I'm walking down the streets going to this hotel called the Taj Mahal Hotel, right? And everybody was stepping away from him because he's saying the name of God out loud, you know, I mean, really loud, right? And I backed off too. I backed off to the side of this guy. And I'm looking at him, I'm watching him. And I go, this dude must be crazy. Allah, Allah, every step he took with the name of God. And it occurred to me at that time, I said, you looking at this dude as if he's crazy. And every step he takes with the name of God.
Right.
Who's crazy here?
Mm.
You know, and believe me, all the people in the street were just moving out his way, you know, just moving out his way like, he crazy, let me get away from this crazy. And it just hit me. And I mean, I stood on the side of him and watched him walk by me, and I'm like, wait a minute, you got a negative feeling on this guy, and every step he takes with the name of God. Ain't this what you're trying to do? Ain't this what, and you see him as a little crazy, huh? Maybe everybody that's watching them stepping aside is a little crazy, you know, and you caught yourself. This is what my thoughts was at the time. I don't want to get lost there, but consider this truly, especially for this sister that's asking, do everybody have free will? No, everybody does not have free will. It is a serious gift or a curse, you know, because this free will has gotten us into a lot of trouble. Because as being an emotional God, right? The God of emotions, some of our feelings get us in absolute trouble. Then we got to take new births. We got to do this. We got to do that. And hey.
So the other question is, so the prison system is out of order?
The prison system is out of order?
Yes.
Well, no, it's not. It's not out of order. It is truly necessary, right? And it's on a galactic level. Because anybody who's studying astrology knows that this is the prison planet. The symbol for Earth is a circle with bars across of it. And it is known as the prison planet. So you don't come here through some natural order of evolution. You come here because you were sentenced not only to death, but a bad situation. Bad situation. Planet Earth is no less bad than any prison that's in the planet Earth. Because you'll come out here and experience what people experience in prisons. I mean, in fact, there's more wickedness out here outside of the prisons that's in the prisons itself. Why?
It's true.
You got nobody watching you. You know, you just do what you want, and you can do it as long as you want until they catch you and put you in the prisons. But this planet here is the prison planet. You were sentenced here because of your deeds. Or people like yourself, I would assume. Now, I'm only assuming this, coming here, like you and Brother Hank, coming here to help, and like Jesus, to help people who are here to go into the light by shedding your own light, by staying in the light, by doing the work of light, praying, decreeing, loving, being kind, you know, all of this. Sometimes just meeting a person of light uplifts that person, uplifts them. I have a friend, she got that quality, very similar to you. If we ever got the chance, I'd like to introduce you to her. She's Sanaa Lathan's mother. She's a wonderful woman, wonderful. Just being around her, she got so much light. You know, it's like, it's just, the effluvia just coming off, it just coming off, you know, and it comes on to you and you feel it. You see it and you feel it. She's beautiful, but she's older, you know. And this is one thing, I want to make this comment, it has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. I just wish that the men could get old on this planet and the women just stay looking beautiful all the time, because we're visual creatures. And I just can't stand to see a super fine girl become old and just, ooh, it pissed me off. We don't care that much about beauty, but we want to see the fine, beautiful woman stay fine. I mean, it's got to be a planet where it's like that.
Yes.
You know? But we are not happy with it at all. The men are not happy with it. We just like, dang, man, why you're so fine, and now look at you. Ooh. Anyway, no, I know we're crazy, but I wish it was like that. Why, you know, God, let the women stay looking beautiful all their life. If they gotta die, let them die one day. But you know, let them stay looking beautiful. We don't care if we get old. The guys, we don't care. But let the women still look beautiful, please, God, Jesus, something help us. Anyway, I done went off, y'all. All right, let's go back to the book before I go.
Let's go back.
What is this? So the prison system is out of order. No. This planet is part of the prison system. But understand that in this universe, this is the planet where they sit the wicked ones. All you got to do is read any scripture. And they got beings who got to take birth to this place. They're cursed. Nobody says you get the boon to go to earth. Every scripture I ever read, when they talk about beings, of course, if they got incarnation in it, reincarnation in there, they curse people to come here. So you get the earth on a curse, or a desire to burn up a lot of karma with a desire to help people, right? The bad part of this is once you drink the waters of forgetfulness, you know, which are the placental waters in the womb of the mother, right? Chemical in that water that causes you to forget everything of your past. You forget that you came here to help people. But but the desire is still in your heart and soul. So you end up doing it anyway, even though you forgot. This is what the real purpose to see of this experiment was. If we separate them from God, would they automatically go back? Would they go back? Or would they stay individualized? Would they go back? Would they try to go back? Or will they stay individualized? This is an experiment. Anyway, let's continue. It's an interesting experiment, huh?
Yes.
In this God-conscious state of ours, as we're thinking on this subject, what experiment do you think that you would like to implement on a planet or a group of planets or solar system that would be to the benefit of the people living in that planet or solar system? What experiment would bring about the greatest good? Something to think about.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
How about in the life of things or in the scheme of things. And we're just free thinking now, something most human beings don't enter into. But consider this: you take a group of beings who become God conscious beings on the most wicked planet in the universe, this planet, right? Mm-hmm. And you say, let's see how powerful they really are. Let's send just one to a planet that have no ascended masters and is a wicked planet also. Couldn't they turn the whole planet? Can the one God conscious being turn the whole planet?
I think so.
I think you're right. And if you become God conscious on a planet like this, that's how powerful you really are. That's how powerful you really are. You can go to any planet and be the only ascended master on that planet and turn the whole place alone. So maybe being born here is not only a curse, but a boon too.
Exactly.
Because as an ascended master or a godlike being, you're more powerful than others that didn't have to go through the wickedness that we had to go through to become what we become. Anyway, let's get back to the book. If there's any more questions, I'd love to hear them. But those two questions were really, really good.
Okay.
All right. All seeming shadows or problems are but a part of God demanding an opportunity for the recognition of the great and mighty presence, the invincible salve of all problems. All problems are but to compel a recognition of God as a supreme controller and activity in all things. I want to say that again so that it's understood clearly. All problems are but to compel a recognition of God as the supreme controller and activity in all things. So a problem is to get us closer to God. When we got problems, and the worse they are, the more we tend to go to God. The worse they are, the more we tend to say, oh God, please save me. If only I didn't do that. If only I would have turned right instead of turning left, I would have got away with my wickedness. Problems are for God, for us to take us closer to God, right? Anyway, okay. The mighty presence is the certain assurance anchored in the heart of every individual on the pathway of life, that he may definitely and absolutely ascend. Therefore, you will see that the outer experience, which would otherwise seem disconcerting or disturbing, is but the demand of the great self to the outer to turn about and face eternal sunrise of God's glorious radiance, enfolding every one of his children and all of his creation. So in other words, these problems that we get, God is sending them to us. God is sending us these problems so that we turn to him, and we get used to turning to him until we get to the point where you just say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of eons of birth, of dying and struggling. I heard about God beings. I heard about Jesus. He did. I heard about Muhammad. I heard about Buddha. They became God. Can I do that? Can I become God? Can I meet a person like that? Can I meet a God-like being?
Right.
Can I, So it starts out like that. And then the next thing you know, you meet a person like that. Then you get a hold of many, 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 many divine secrets. And your life automatically changes because of the secrets that you learn. If you learn, look, I go hurt this person, right? And I take all this negative karma. You may decide, let God handle that, right? Let God handle that, right? Like I was talking about, I'm gonna kill this guy to rape my sisters, and rid the world of him. But now I got to take on his karma. Not a good idea. Not a good exchange, right? Anyway, let's continue. All right. It is but the man of grace. Okay, boom. As you contemplate this fact, the fact that God is sending you problems so you can turn to him, right? As you contemplate this fact, every earnest soul will feel the radiance of the mighty truth, strengthening and sustaining him with a joyous presence in every experience through which he may pass. And I want to say to the listening audience, if you have a question, please ask it, because that question may help other people that's listening to this discourse. All right. Anyway, okay. In presenting this mighty sustaining truth from various angles, it is done with certain consciousness that one angle or another will meet the requirements of the student in various grades, enabling each one to grasp his principle of life, the mighty I am presence, the God within, with certain definite assurance. Each one will recognize his own God principle working in him and for him, and he will feel his certain ability to apply it in his own life and problems. Right? Let me tell you how that ends up being. You're not fully realized yet. You're not even enlightened, right? But you know that you are the force of God. You know, and you've been doing certain practices. This is what I saw one day. I was moving from New York to New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a situation. We had to park the truck, but the truck was double parked because there was no parking spaces, right? And there was a bunch of us guys there, right? And so the meter maid comes and he says, you got to move the car, got to move your truck. It can't be here like this. So I got to give you a ticket. So we moved the truck one place, then we moved it, but we still didn't have any places to double the park, and we moved it again. So they said to me, because it's me moving, right? It's like, oh, Lalji, what we going to do now, right? And I'm like, boy, we in a quandary here. What are we going to do? Because he gave us a shot. He didn't give us a ticket. If he come around the third time, we're going to get a ticket. One of the guys among us, who is this type of guy that I'm talking about, right? He says to everybody, he says, oh, ye of little faith, right? Now, the car is parked, double parked, and on the side of the street. He takes his hand like this. After he says, oh, ye of little faith. He does something. He says something to one car. Then the car right behind it, he says another thing, and he just backs away. Less than 60 seconds later, the guy of the first park comes, and about 10 seconds after him, before he can even move out, the guy of the second car comes. They move these two cars so we could park that truck.
Wow. Yeah.
And he wasn't enlightened. He's just on the path, knowing that he's not the one doing this. God is doing it.
Exactly.
What's the probability of somebody right after another coming and moving it so we could park that truck in there like that? And the thing he said to us was, oh, ye of little faith. Taking the phrase out of the Bible, oh, ye of little faith. And we all looked at the bro. We was like, you a bad man, boy. You know? Anyway, this is the power that we're yielding, y'all. Okay, all right. In the presence.
So we have a question.
Okay.
How it's from Gianita. Peace, sister. How are you? Gianita. She wants to know, how do we recognize a true guru or spiritual guide that has not been tainted being on this prison planet?
The way you recognize a God-conscious being is that being within the period of 7 to 30 days will give you a direct experience of yourself as God. You will not mistake in this experience. You will realize, oh my God. All right. That's when you're going to understand, and you know, I am in the presence of a God conscious being, because God conscious beings don't want to try and sway you with their words to come and get your own God self. They're not trying to give you money. They're not trying to give you anything but the experience of yourself as God. When you meet such a man or woman, you will know you are in the presence of a real guru. And there are levels of gurus. All right. And when I say levels of guru, I don't mean that they have different powers. You know, they got the same power. It's authority. That's the level. It's authority. This guru can do whatever he wants because he's an agori. This guru is here and they don't have the authority to do this, that, or the other. They're still God conscious being. They can do anything they want. They have unlimited power, but they will obey the authority that they've been commissioned with. The agoris can do anything. There is no authority over them. When God God has an authority, right? He's not going to break the laws because he's God, and he's an example for us. The agoris are way above the law. way above the law. So they took God consciousness. Once they hit God consciousness, they said, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going until they realize, there is no more for you to attain. There is no more. You're just becoming more powerful in your God self, but there is no more to attain. You're already omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent.
Mhm.
I want
But
to
they go to
build
a
on
certain level that when God can't do something, he'll call on the glory. He'll call on the glory. Look, Bhagawan, go do this. Bhagawan, go do it. For example, when they first churned the Milky Ocean, poison came out of the Milky Ocean. So Lord Vishnu said, Lord Shiva, drink the poison. Help the people in the universe. And so he drinks the poison. Why? Because Lord Shiva's an Agori. He can do anything. Right? It's like that. So we're at 12:30.
Yeah, hold on
So
now. Hold on, brother. Hold on, Lalji. I'm going to build on that.
Mm-hmm.
What Gianita said. Now let's read this again, family. Let's read this again.
Can you see it?
How do we recognize a true guru or spiritual guide that has not been tainted being on this prison planet? Let's take it to another level. G. Anita, you have within you this divine guru. You have it within your crystal womb, G. Anita Smith. How much are you in devotion to the whispers and the voices of your crystal womb and your divine heart? So sisters who are in the audience, brothers who are in the audience, the cycle of time is beyond looking for external avatars, gurus, spirit guides. You're going to have to get rid of the colonized mind and go within your own heart. And women, go into your own womb so that you can listen to the avatar sisters within your heart and womb. And brothers, you can listen to the ascended master potential that's in your heart. Stop looking. As Luke 17:21 says, lo and behold, the kingdom of heaven is within you. The colonized mind, you've been miseducated from the cradle to look for God externally. That's part of the Anunnaki prison planet training 101. You take deep breaths to activate the DMT within your heart and within your chest and within your being, and experience a direct experience of your own Shakti femininity. Look at Bliss. You think she just took a movie ticket to develop herself? That Capricorn up here in the center between two brothers put in time, years, and tears to cultivate her feminine Shakti. So don't look. That's the slave program, to look externally. The latest and the greatest program, you are Allah. You are Yahweh. You are Wakantanka Tankashila. You are Olodumare. You are all that ever was, all that ever is, and all that ever will be, because it's inside of you. And if you got to blindfold yourself and stay in the house in the dark to figure out you are the light, well, you do that. But know that the training, your DNA was tampered with for you to look for the Lord outside of yourself. You are the God, you Jesus, you Mother Mary, you Black Madonna, you Lakshmi, you Aphrodite, G. Anita. Get that crystal and get busy. That's all I want to say.
Turning the beads. Just turning the beads, just repeating. See, these beads, they act as a whip to your mind. Rosaries, zikrs, malas, whatever you call them, they act as a whip to your mind. Allah, Allah. What's going to happen to a mind that's saying, I am God all day, or 20, or 10,000, or 50, 5,000 times a day? 1,000, I discovered, is not much at all. But then 5,000 on the breath was a lot. On the breath, in breath, mantra, out breath. Because you begin to experience yourself as God. You start feeling your brain literally start moving so that your passive thinking is on the line of God. So if all the time you're just thinking about God, that's what you become. That's what you realize you are. And then there's levels. I would expect that y'all have already experienced these levels. Every bit of everything we see out here is a manifestation of our thought. It is not real at all. This hard ground that we're standing on ain't even solid, but we imagine it is. And we're imagining a reality that, here's another thing I want to add on to what Brother Hank just said. Do not think, once you have used your God power unknowingly as a little boy or little girl, because you get such wickedness pushed upon you, because just for the simple fact you live here on Earth, the most wicked planet in the universe, where you're just going to catch hell. It's just that simple. You're going to catch it. If you're here, you're going to catch it, right? You use the power of God to create an ego, a mask, which is a personality. It is a false personality of God, but it has God power created by a God being. Once you flip that script, it's like turning the light on. Bam! All of the darkness that is there is gone in an instant. Take that same switch and knock it off. Now the darkness comes back. But there is some type of darkness that you will need a guru to bring light to. I met a little kid. I never liked this kid. He was my best friend's brother. He was born evil. He was just born evil. I mean, he was just born evil, right? You need a guru to take you out of that state of evil, of wickedness. Once a certain slip, it's like this. You hit that script, and you're so mad of the wickedness coming to you. Bam! You hit it. Now you're into this person that you created. I'm speaking allegorically here, but you hit the switch so hard that you blew out the system. And back in the days, we used to have to get what they called what them things we used to screw in there when the lights went out, Hank.
It's called a fuse.
Fuses.
Yeah.
Fuse.
It's a fuse. That's what it's like becoming the ego. That's what it's like becoming the ego.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
You need that fuse is messed up.
Well, let's keep it 100
in there.
That little guy wasn't evil. What was his mother going through while she was carrying him, and that he uploaded the program? He ain't evil. I had direct experience in families. Misdirected mamas create monsters. Misdirected mothers create monsters.
Oh yeah.
Misdirected mothers create monsters.
Yes, they do.
All right.
Hank, we cannot argue with that.
Reproduction is the highest form of magic. Sexual energy is God force. And from my experience, from mine family, I'm gonna tape this and put it on the WhatsApp group so that they hear it also. All right, hold on, let me turn this around. Just saying, while we have this live show, all future shows will be on Miss Bliss platform, Journey to Bliss on YouTube.
Really? Nice.
And all of you who are in the chat, practice the principle of Ubuntu, share with other platforms, the WhatsApp group, and also the YouTube channel. All right, we got to break that colonized segmentation to reach the elevation that we're looking for. Success is Ubuntu. Collectively, we'll get there. But we're not going to be thinking Eurocentrically and say, oh, there can only be one, divide and conquer, all these different clans. You have to have the unison. And for myself, Lalji, Bliss, and family listening to the audience, I don't trust any external gurus. I found that my best gurus are ascended masters, and you will develop a personal relationship with them to the point they give you downloads, suggestions, wisdom, and recipes. And that's all I want to say about that. Okay? Your I am is your guru. Your I am is your ascended master. But you call upon Saint Germain, Sheikh Amadou Bamba, Simeon Toko, Sheikh Ibrahim, Yeshua, also known as Jesus. You call on them and telepathically connect with their chakras and do it sincerely. Those are the real shamans, gurus that won't let you down. The ones down here on prison planet chicken farm earth, they're open to fallen situations. So unless you tune into ascended masters who are beyond tripping and flipping, then just be mindful of that. Ashe.
I want to veg you back on that for the listening audience. Consider this. The outer guru, and it's not like this planet is proliferated with hundreds and hundreds of these. It's not, that's not what's happening here, right? Being in this human state is a severe condition. Severe, right? To get out of it, you need someone who did get out of it to show you how to get out of it. In the same way that if you want to learn the martial arts, you don't go to a book and think. And then many people on the spiritual path think that they could go to the Bible. I got a friend like that. He was a gangster, you know. He went to jail for a long time. When he get out, he became a Christian in jail. He get out, he's a holy roller now. But he ain't going nowhere, really. He's not doing what he used to do as a gangster, but he ain't making no real spiritual progress to his Christ self. Why? He don't got a Christ man to teach him how to do that. And just by reading a scripture, you're not going to be able to look. You talking about becoming God. You ain't going to just be good and have that. I know a person, Brother Hank, who I told him about the powerful experience we were having with the medicines, right? And this girl, she says to me, beautiful, beautiful girl. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do what I do in my meditation, my prayer. I'm just going to go on my own. You know, now she got a guru. I introduced her to her guru. You know, before she was saying that, it was like, I can attain God on my own. I don't need no guru, people out the room. But when she met the guru and the guru hit her with the Mickey Jumi, there was nothing she could do beyond that. Once you get hit with the Mickey Jumi, you in, right? And I said to her, because I thought in the same way myself, before I did the ayahuasca, and it took me into the same God state that the guru put me in, and then I did the bufo, and I went into a state that's so beyond, I don't even know if there's a state beyond it, right? I have not had anything that I could experience that level of love. To get into the highest states, like I was saying, there's levels of these states. But until you get to a place where there is no ego, there's a possibility you could do wickedness with the power of God. Not any power, the power that you've been building up all the years that you get into this high state before the ego is burned. The ego burns the ego, or rather, the guru burns the ego. But the whole task of the guru is to lead you to the guru within. The guru will tell you over and over and over again every day, go to the guru within. The guru within is what you're going for. You're not going to be with me. I'm not going to heaven and stay there for all eternity. I'm going to be with my guru. That's what our guru is telling us. I'm going to be with my guru, right? Go within. Your guru is within. You exist because of the guru within. Well, how do I get to the guru within? Repeat the name of God ceaselessly. Chant. Serve a guru. Decree God consciousness into your existence. You know, bust this. I ain't want to do nothing unless I did it with the guru that's on your right, Sister Bliss. I ain't want to do nothing with nobody unless I did it with Brother Hank. Why? He's the one that taught me about the medicines. I don't want to do it with nobody else unless he suggests, Lalji, let's go do it with this person.
Right.
Why? I've been to two sides of the spiritual path. One way is light, the other way is darkness. Don't think that the spiritual path don't have both of them. It does. All right? I want to take chances. I'm going to go with what I know. All right? So Brother Hank has been my guru as far as the medicines. If he says, look, Lalji, the bomb jammy, I'm off. Right? A guru is to guide you. Not for you to worship, not for you to be bowing down and all this kind of stuff, because the guru will tell you straight away, there is no merit in bowing. All right.
I think, Lalji, we gotta be careful with this language, man. This
Yes,
language,
it's the
this
language.
English language can jack you up.
It's
I'd
the
rather say,
language.
instead of guru, I'd rather say, oh, that's my Ubuntu brother. That's my Ubuntu brother. Or that's my Ubuntu brother. Or that's my Ubuntu sister. Meaning that we got each other's back. You know, when I think of guru, maybe because my mind has been bent living here in America. When I think of guru, I think of like somebody saying, oh, you know, I'm going to be your queen. I'm going to be your king. So, you know, a king needs slaves. A queen needs slaves. You know, how about if we be each other's Ubuntu? Like our, you know, you be the eyes behind my head. I got your back. You get what I mean? We got this
Yes,
language,
I do.
this language is jacked. You know, and we gotta learn a new language. That's all I want to say.
It's like the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh was the guru of the land, of all the people, and he's guiding the people, the king, the emir, or the person who was head of the government. His first task in ancient times was to get to all the people to be raised in the God consciousness. That was what their task was in the past. So he's the king, right? But then there's the emissaries that the king is protecting, what they would call Brahmins or holy men and Stop call. All right. And that's how it was. And so the king or the pharaoh and the person who was the head of the government, they were sending out their sparks of light. Because remember, the king was worshipped as God. As look at what happened to Haile Selassie when he went to Jamaica. He was the king of Ethiopia. They looked at him as God. And the scriptures are filled with stories of the king being God. And there was a time that the king was God on earth and guided the people and protected the Brahmins and all this kind of stuff. I want to say this about a guru. It would be easier to capture all of the wind by dint of your two arms than to attain God realization without a guru. You need someone who has done this to show you how you could be complete. That don't mean you can't go into a higher state, because we've done this. To be sustained in that state, you need someone who has been sustained in that state to sustain you in that state. Because we've all gone into these God conscious states. You got to send me these two pictures so I can put them with the Guru Gita. You told me you would. Remember, Hank, could you send them to me in my email rather than on a text?
Okay.
All right. You know, this thing about, I know of one person who attained God consciousness. No, I know of two who attained God consciousness without a guru. One, we were told that he was born that way. There was no mother, no father. He was just found in the forest. He was a dark-skinned black child found in the forest, and there was a crow protecting his body. And this woman found him, took him, had him raised with a doctor. This doctor raised him. And this little boy, when he was 9 years old, he said to the doctor that raised him, because the doctor saw that this kid was God incarnate, right? The little boy at 9 years old comes to the doctor. His name was Dr. Iyer. He said, I'm going to be leaving you now. I have to go on my mission now. And the boy was, the doctor was crying, and, you know, he was able to have God in his own house because he was showing him that he's God, even as a child. He says, don't worry, I'll see you again before you die. And this little boy was the guru of my guru. I heard of only one other person who came here fully realized, complete. I only heard of one other person. It's not impossible, but it's extremely unlikely. Imagine wanting to be a martial artist and you just try to learn martial arts on your own. Could you do it? Nothing is impossible. Would it be done faster with a teacher who's a master in martial arts? Of course. This is how you look at the guru. And if you don't want a guru, go for God on your own. Your efforts will be met with a guru, because God knows, and he's going to send that person, man or woman, to you to take you over. This is not like this is how I feel game. And there is many, what do you call it? Man, you'll be in high states of consciousness, but you're going to run into some demons on the path. in your meditation. You're going to run into some women that's going to tempt you in on the path in your meditation. That's going to seem like this person is right before you. It's going to be the goddess Kundalini. And that's going to be one of your first tests. She's going to be voluptuous, and she's going to be more beautiful than anyone you've ever seen in life. And she's going to tempt you. You don't know she's the goddess. You think she's just this fine something, and you want to get with her. If you do, you will lose your mind. If you worship her as the divine mother, then she will take you to the next step. And there is many steps along this way. And without a guru, you're exposed. And when I say a guru, I mean your God self up, that part of the Trinity that you are. If you're lucky enough to find a person who is a full-fledged Trinity before you, your path is relatively easier. But if it comes down to you trying to enter into this realm without without being introduced into that realm from a person who is in that realm, who sanctioned you, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. Nothing is impossible. I'd like to see it. For those who want to go for God without a guru, I say go for it, 100%. I'd like to see your progress. I'd like to see how far you get. Because even with a guru, we still do wickedness. We still do whatever we want most of the time. Hundreds of thousands of people will come to a guru. Our guru told us 1 out of 100,000 that come who are sincere will make it to guruhood. Yeah, because they understand what the outer guru is teaching them and what the inner guru, they connect with it. But it's the guru setting you up. The guru is putting you in an environment where you want to be God. He's putting you in. He's giving you a system where the food you eat, where the things you do are taking you closer and closer. And as you start building and building and building, because of your own efforts, the guru gives you a little bit more. Then he looks to your God self, your Trinity, and say, "What can we give him? Can we give him? Give him another shot. Give him a little, because it's your God self. It's your real guru."
Lalji, I want to just add something there about that. We have this picture here of the divine mothers. The divine mothers of
I love that one.
And baby Haru. We have the Black Madonna and baby Jesus. There's a point that, speaking of physically, the baby comes off the nipple. And we have a beautiful mother right here. I'm sure she can relate. But at a certain point of soul development, yes, you may need that physical presence until you mature enough so that you go beyond the physical and develop a relationship with ascended masters spiritually. And that's what I like about that movie. What was his name? Bruce Leroy. Where he had he had the bad guy. He's like, "Who's your master?" And he was dunking him in the pickle bottle and lifted his head up saying, "Who's your master?" Until he said, "I am." And when he acknowledged his own divinity, that's when he opened up the jar of whoop ass. And that's what this whole program on Sundays is about. Family, opening up your own divine jar of whoop ass. Because we're down to whoop ass invoking I am magic and whoop ass with crystals. That's what they reduced us to. This is a channel for whoop ass training. And to encourage you on this whoop ass training to learn to connect chakra to chakra with ascended masters. Like this picture here. Connecting to you.
And
you picture you connecting to you on one side and the ascended master of your choice on the other side, and feel and ask and experience and see the energy connection. But this is a dojo to teach you to let go and let your I am be the whoop ass cream that you had locked up in the jar with the lid tight by your ego. So again, journey to bliss. Join, like, subscribe, and share in the spirit of Ubuntu.
I want to say something so that the listening audience don't think that we're coming from two different places. It's the words. It's this language. This language is designed for making money, for business, right? It's a guttural language. It's not a heart language, right? We are saying the same things. We're using the different words to say the same thing. The guru is within. No matter if you have an outer guru or inner guru, you still got to go to the inner guru. The guru is within. And in fact, the word guru has been, instead of it being considered a divine thing, it's been reduced to anybody that teaches something is a guru. And this is not what it's really about at all. The word guru is equivalent to the word God. And the way this language has defiled that word, we're trying to make it a common thing that anybody could be a guru. This is your guru. He taught you how to spell or any kind of foolishness. But the guru is God. And the guru has one task, to make you God. That's what it does. That's all it does. And it guarantees it. Once you meet a true guru, he guarantees, once he takes you on as a disciple, no matter what you do, that he's going to guarantee that you become the guru within yourself. You become the Christ. That's the guarantee once you meet a real guru.
Well,
these questions that was posed.
Lalji, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you, with all the psychedelics I've taken, I would honestly say even the shamans I've met have been tripping and flipping. All right? And just to remember, family, just remember, psychedelics don't do you a damn bit of good if you don't do the spiritual work. I've met some shimmy sham so-called shamans and medicine people. You know what? And you can get disappointed with these mofos. All right. So I don't even look for no damn guru. The time it take me to look over this planet for a guru externally, I'll have my ass in such beautiful deep trance alignment that I would be like, oh, okay, Ascended Master, you want me to go here? All right, good. Oh, you want me to do this with the ingredients? Fine. And then the outer part of me, that straw man, will be, oh, I'm in Louisiana looking for the guru. Fuck that. I ain't got that kind of time. I ain't got time for that. And those of you who are 15 to 20, y'all go ahead and kick cans and look for an external guru. But those of you who are over 30, and if you still kicking cans looking for a guru, you got to flip the script and turn within. That's all I got to say about that. I ain't got time for that. I just had to psychologically adjust to a disappointment of, a cross-eyed shaman recently. I'm like, nah, man, I'll just ask my guides to guide my meditation, and I'll ask them, with Miss Bliss, I'll hold space for Miss Bliss because she's my Ubuntu sister. She's my Ubuntu sister. Lalji, we holding space for him because he's our Ubuntu brother. Funk, I'm gonna say it, Lalji, on my end of the spectrum, down here on the left side. Funk external gurus. They can kick cans. I'm gonna stick with the internal gurus, and if they're good, then they can rock with Sheikh Amadou Bamba. They can rock with Saint Germain, and I'll check with Saint Germain and say, yo, Saint Germain, is Bruce Leroy a guru? Is Brother Tyrone a guru? Or is Sister so-and-so and so-and-so a guru? I ain't got time to be looking for no gurus. I'm on a bicycle. That's all I want.
I hear you. Had I not met God men and women, the external gurus, some of them didn't take on any students at all. They was like, do your own thing, go to God in yourself. And some of them were walking around in the hot of India, wearing coat over top of coat and picking up rocks and thinking that this is the goal, and put them in their pocket. And then someone would take them same rocks and throw them at people and give them blessings beyond their imagination. I would say, I hear you, my brother, 100%. And I would also say, go check them out anyway. See what you can get. You might get something great. You might not, and you might get something great. Many of the gurus out here is like the preachers. They touchy-feely guys who want money and want girls. But some of them are not. And they are few and far between. But whatever it is that we're doing, Whatever it is that you're doing, keep going to God. However you can see yourself going to God, keep going. Don't stop. It's the journey, you know. And the next thing you know, however it is that you decide you're going up that mountain, once you get to the top, everybody's there. Everybody's there. Because if you're serious, like Brother Hank is, he's going to get to the top, you know. And if you're not serious, you're just going to keep going around and around that mountain.
No,
I would
I
still
ain't
say
gonna
just
say
keep
I'm on
going
the
around the
top.
mountain.
I'm gonna say, Brother Lalji, you know, this holographic reality is a trip, man. You know, it's like, I think it's more like I am my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. And that's and you know, that's what I think is getting to the top, is being I am Ubuntu. I am my brother's keeper. You know, like I said, this language is cuckoo, you know, but I am my brother's keeper. Ubuntu. Just want to share that, brother. Miss Bliss has left the room temporarily, but she's left the building. Yo, we got to wrap it up, Lalji. We looking at 1 o'clock, man. Yo, hold on. We can't hear you. Hold on, bro. Hold on. You gotta unmute your mic, Lalji. Your mic.
Muted itself.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
There you
Can
go.
you hear me now?
Yeah. Go
All
ahead
right,
and
cool.
do your closeout.
Nitya Nandaya Gurave Shisha Samsara Harine Bhaktakaye Dedehaya Namaste Chitsaratmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Mritaye Nish Prapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bunaktu Sahariya Karnava Vahe Tejas Vinavadi Tamastu Ma Vivisha Vahe Om Shanti 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 Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. May we always stay in love with each other. In essence, that's what that chant means. May we always love each other. May we always be kind to each other. May we always be with each other. May our love be eternal. My brother.
Ashe. So, family, all of you who are listening now and in the future, we will have the Healing Circle Tuesday here on this platform, Journey to Bliss, at 7 p.m. Right, Lalji?
Yes, sir. 7 p.m. The
7
Healing
p.m.
Circle.
Tuesday, Healing Circle.
The prayer
Right
circle.
here. Pass the word so that everyone knows. And I want to thank you again, Lalji, for the energy that you invested in watering the star seed I am within everyone. Ashe, Aho. Let us go.
Say
My brother.
often, yes, I am. Supreme shield of protection surrounding me. Yes, I am. Yes, I am remembering all I was born to do. Yes, I am. Take hold of your crystal, which will magnify your I am affirmations at least 600%. If you don't have a pistol, you better have a crystal. Bring forth. Yes.
Hey, Ms. Bliss.
Hey, my laptop it died on me, so I had to run and get the plug. But thank goodness you guys are good. It closed out. It went well. Yay.
Any closing words before we wrap up the show?
Thank you everyone for coming and showing. I appreciate you all. I'm extremely grateful, and I enjoyed the talk with Lalji. This is my first show, and I'm thankful.
Ashe, Aho. So with that being said, see y'all Tuesday. Healing Circle Tuesday will be right here on Journey to Bliss 7 p.m. And we gave you the QR code to join the I Am Presence gathering, which is right here, so that you can be plugged in always. Right, Miss Bliss? I'm going to thank you for all of your Shakti, compassionate healing energy. And we're going to call it. Ready to wrap it up?
Yes. Have a